In my review of the Batman theatrical feature films, we have finally come to The Dark Knight, and god damn it, this is more like it. The Dark Knight is the Batman movie that I thought I would never see. I mentioned way back in the Adam West 1966 Batman movie review that I think everybody has their own Batman. Everybody who cares about the character, everybody who has an opinion on Batman has their own Batman, their own ideas on what makes the character work, where the character is at its strongest, at its most interesting. And my Batman is not the Christopher Nolan Batman, but the Christopher Nolan Batman comes closer to my Batman than I ever thought anything ever would. Christopher Nolan in The Dark Knight does with Batman what I have been hoping somebody would do ever since I first became interested in the character, and that is make a film that is a serious film that takes Batman seriously. Nolan likes to say that he tries to make his Batman realistic, but of course Batman can never be realistic because when it gets right down to it, the premise underlying Batman is unavoidably stupid. It's a guy who dresses up in a bat costume and goes out to fight crime. There's an essential silliness to that you just can never lose. So Batman will never be realistic in that way. But what Nolan does in The Dark Knight so well, and what I was hoping for all these years that somebody would do, is to present Batman as though it were realistic. To present a Batman world that was as close to our world, as close to a realistic, naturalistic world as you can possibly get while still doing Batman. And Nolan, if he doesn't accomplish that, he gets as close to that as anyone ever has. The thing that makes The Dark Knight such a great movie to me is that it is really, really interested in these themes, in the questions that are raised by the existence of Batman and by the nature of Batman and by what you get when you compare Batman to the Joker, or Batman to Jim Gordon, or Batman to Harvey Dent. What they do with Harvey Dent in this movie is so interesting. You really see how this character has so much potential to be a really great dramatic character and a classically tragic character, a good man who fell. And not only Harvey, but one of the fascinating things I found about the movie is that not just Harvey, but Batman and also Jim Gordon. This is the triangle at the center of the film. This is the Trinity. This is the trio of heroes at the center of this film, and all of them are driven to do wrong things in the pursuit of right. All of them are forced to compromise their principles and do bad things in the service of good. Harvey Dent has that really brutal interrogation of the Arkham Asylum patient after the shooting at the mayor's speech during the Commissioner Loeb's funeral service in the middle of the city, where Harvey kidnaps the guy in the ambulance and he has him in the alley and he's pointing the gun in his head and he's giving him this really brutal interrogation with the coin flipping and everything. It's really, really terrorizing this guy to get to the truth. And Commissioner Gordon, Jim Gordon, allows his wife and children and pretty much everybody else to believe that he is dead in order to catch the Joker. And then ultimately, finally, the greatest betrayal of principle, the greatest violation of heroic principle is when Batman uses his company's cell phone technology to spy on pretty much everyone in Gotham City in order to get the information he needs to find the Joker. Let me talk about the Joker, because obviously Heath Ledger winning Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars posthumously, unfortunately, for this role. The first major Oscar ever won by a superhero film. Superhero films had won in technical categories prior to this. But this was the first time that a superhero movie won an Oscar in what is considered a major artistic category. They change so much about the Joker in The Dark Knight, and it's a perfect example of how a good comic book movie can play fast and loose with the source material, can make changes and make tweaks and alterations, and yet still show great understanding and great respect to that source material. Nolan's script and Nolan's direction and Ledger's performance captures the essence of the comic book Joker, the modern comic book Joker, the Joker of Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, better than any other adaptation ever has. That sense of chaos, that sense of just utter insanity, of anarchy, that you really have no idea what he's going to do next, and that sense of almost sexual attraction to Batman. The relationship between the Joker and Batman, how perverse that is, how the Joker fixates on Batman and does things to get Batman's attention, and is an enemy of Batman, but yet would never, ever purposely kill Batman, because Batman makes life interesting. And if Batman was gone, what the fuck would the Joker do? He says that in what I think is probably the movie's best scene, their interrogation scene, which is just a splendid scene, because it not only plays well within the universe of Nolan's Batman, but also it's a brilliant callback to the Batman of the 40s and the 50s when he was, and the 60s, when he was a duly deputized agent of the Gotham City Police Force, and he was able to sit in interrogation rooms in police stations and talk to criminals when he was treated like a member of the police force. Somehow Nolan pulls off this incredible alchemy where he's able to both have Batman the outlaw, Batman the vigilante, and yet also somehow arrange this scene of Batman being watched by the detectives of the Gotham City Police Force interrogating the Joker, and have it all play. And there's another element to Heath Ledger's Joker that is not unique to this version, but is played up much more strongly than it usually is in the comics, and certainly in any of the other adaptations. And that is the Joker's nihilism. The Joker is a true nihilist. He really, really doesn't care if he dies or not. Some of the greatest lines that the Joker has in the movie, and especially in that great interrogation scene between him and Batman, are the lines where he shows unambiguously that he really doesn't care. That amazing moment in the interrogation scene where Batman loses his temper on the Joker and wants to know where he's taken Rachel, where he's taken Harvey Dent, what he's doing with them, and he jumps up from the table and he throws him into the wall and he punches him in the head. And the Joker looks up at him and he says, "You have nothing to threaten me with. You have nothing to do with all your strength. There is nothing you can do to me that will make me do what you want me to do." That is such a great scene, and it makes the Joker such a powerful character, because even though Batman may be the greatest martial artist in the world, he may be able to whip any ass that walks through the door anywhere on the planet, the Joker doesn't care. Because if Batman kills the Joker, that's just what happens. The Joker doesn't fucking care. There's no defense against a person like that. And it really taps into these deep, fundamental, existential fears that I think a lot of people have about the world that we find ourselves in. I know it's a cliche to say post 9/11 world, but we live in this world now where we're very, very, very much aware that there are people in the world who are willing to blow themselves the fuck up because they think it will further their cause. And there's nothing you can threaten those people with. There's nothing you can do to talk someone out of blowing themselves up if they've already decided that it's worth blowing themselves up. And the Joker is like that. The Joker's mentality is of that type where he just says, "Hey, if you want to kill me, I don't care." You know, the way he sees it, if Batman kills him, he wins, because it proves his point. That Batman's just like everybody else. That Batman will compromise his principles too. And the Joker's right. Even though he's not right in the sense that Batman will allow him to die or will kill him, he's right in the sense that Batman is forced to compromise his principles in order to win the day. He's already right. By the time Batman saves the Joker at the end when they have the fight, and Batman throws him over the side of the building, and then grabs him with the bat wire and pulls him back up. By that point, the Joker's already won. The Joker's already proved his point, because in order for Batman to even find him, he's had to compromise his principles. What a great movie! What a bold message for a superhero movie to have the villain, even though the villain loses in the sense that he's captured by the good guys and is arrested at the end of the movie. He turned out to be right. The good people had to behave badly in order to stop him. Harvey Dent, after he's become Two-Face, in that great scene at the very, very end, when it's him and Gordon and Batman. And what a beautiful statement of choosing story over spectacle and over expectation, to have the movie with Heath Ledger's definitive bravura performance as the Joker in this movie, to finish that off and then have that final scene between Batman and Commissioner Gordon and Harvey Dent, Two-Face, because those are the three guys who are really at the center of the story. What a beautiful choice of art and story over artifice and commercialism. And in that scene, Two-Face, Harvey Dent, says angrily, because he's been hurt by this, to Gordon and Batman, "You thought that we could be decent men in an indecent time, and you were wrong." And that's what the Joker thinks too. And he's right. They couldn't be decent men in an indecent time. They all had to compromise their principles in order to reach their goals, in order to capture the bad guys, in order to win the day. They all had to do it, even if in small ways. They couldn't maintain their principles and defeat the bad guys and arrest the criminals, defeat the Joker. They had to compromise their principles. It's such a great movie. And it's by far the best Batman movie. It's so much better than Batman Begins. And it is light years ahead. It's not even in the same universe as the Burton Schumacher series. It's so far beyond anything that those movies even dreamed of being, even attempted. Just a great movie. And if I'm lucky enough to see another Batman movie that good in my life, I'll consider myself a very lucky Batman fan. And if it turns out that I see a movie that good in the next couple of weeks in the form of The Dark Knight Rises, I just won't know what the fuck to do with myself. The Dark Knight is so fucking good that it takes every other shitty Batman movie made up to The Dark Knight, which is all of them, except for the Adam West movie, which is in a completely different category. It makes them all worth it. It excuses every shortcoming, every excess, every stupid writing decision, every disappointment. It's all, you know what? Water under the bridge, guys. Bygones. That's how good The Dark Knight is. The Dark Knight is so good that it makes up for every shitty Batman movie ever made before it. It's as good as Batman gets.